Okay, today I have the lovely Danielle who has done a couple of my Thrive programs. And I was saying to Danielle, I keep referencing her story because it seems to be actually quite a common situation that women find themselves in. And so I felt like actually having a chat and talking through what was happening for you and how we have kind of overcome it and move forward would be quite a powerful way of me being able to send this conversation to other people. But also, if the women I'm working with are having these kind of challenges, there are other people out there who may also be listening, could find themselves hearing themselves and relating in this conversation. So, thank you, firstly, Danielle, for being here. I'm going to throw it over to you and maybe get you to explain the cycle that you were kind of living in, and then we'll talk through like what we did to overcome it.
Yeah, so I guess probably, for about 5 years, I was in this cycle of going on like a low carb kind of diet, losing weight, and then getting really tired and sort of losing all motivation to continue and then putting all the weight back on again. Yeah.
And that just would keep going, wouldn't it? It would just like,
Yeah.
then you would just kind of kick it off again, and then we would go through the cycle again. And that was going on for quite a while, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So at least, yeah, about 5 years, I'd say. Yeah.
And so this is why I think it's important to break it down and explain one, why that cycle doesn't work. And this is obviously something you have first-handedly learned. Because what happened was Danielle joined the program, and about probably 5 weeks in, do you think it was? Or was it a bit further?
Yeah.
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 About 5 weeks in, she was going really well. And then, of course, over the time, she was hitting her protein, but she was on this cycle of, because I guess your mindset was already caught in, I have to minimize carbs to get the results. So
Yeah.
she was hitting her protein but minimizing her carbohydrates. And I remember it clearly. She came to one of our weekly calls and she said, Chanel, my energy is terrible. Like, and so we actually talked through the situation. And what happens is when you minimize your carbs for a period of time, is we think we get results because we are cutting very much almost out a macronutrient. However, what we're really doing is we're cutting calories by removing that macronutrient, but we're taking our energy source away. So, really, what you learned, so what we did was we doubled down, and I talked to Danielle and said, well, the reason you're tired is because the carbohydrates are only in your diet for energy purposes. And so then you get this low energy, so you can't do your workouts. You've got no energy to do your workouts. So then we talked it through. Do you remember like what plan we hatched around?
I think, yeah, it was more about like in the mornings, including a little bit of fruit or something to give me, because I was kind of, getting up, having like a cup of coffee or just some water and going for a walk. And then sometimes like I was waiting until like 10 or 11 o'clock to have breakfast. But yeah, like and then I sort of decided, well, I'm going to try out a few more of the breakfast recipes and just having that consistent, like complex carbohydrates, like fruit and just some, Wheat Bix or some oats or something, just yeah, helped me, I guess, my energy level stay stable so I can do more exercise. And then the weight came off. And then even, it was just easier to maintain. And I felt, more satisfied. And yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So when we take our energy source away, we can do it for 5 or 6 weeks, but then our energy doesn't allow us to do the exercise or recover. And so then that's what puts us into the cycle of then we ditch everything and then like it goes back the other way. So we talked around like adding carbohydrates, like you talked about, around your workouts, and just adding more into your diet. And I think that probably takes some confidence, because when we've done something that we feel like has worked, and then we kind of talked through that obviously it wasn't working because you kept like doing this cycle. So the cool thing was that you had enough confidence to actually experiment. And that's what I recommend, is like, obviously this cycle doesn't work and it doesn't give us the body composition results, or energy, focus, sleep, like all of those things get affected. So then, of course, like now, the results you've got with your body composition, like I can't remember exactly, is it 7 or 8 kilos that you ended up?
Yeah, so I lost 7 or 8 kilos, but the fact that like I've been able to keep it off, like, you know, and I can on weekends, have a little bit more, processed foods and sugar and stuff. And it because I'm, really eating well during the week and having enough energy for exercise, it's not, impacting me.
Yeah, for sure. So do you feel like you understand how food needs to be balanced in your life now?
I think so. And like the other things kind of that I picked up and added in was, like supplementing with like psyllium husk.
Yes.
And like I do that every morning now, and then, adding in some prunes like for a sweet after lunch, just that sort of just little things like that. And I do notice that when I have lots of good fiber, I already ate lots of vegetables, but just that, yeah, I really enjoy eating, and so I don't have to feel bad about what I'm eating. Yeah.
That's so good. And so, do you feel like now you feel like you've got a way of eating that is actually serving you to not only enjoy your food, but have the results that you were wanting?
Yeah, it's sustainable. Like, yes, we worked out what calories I needed, but once I spent a couple of weeks like planning, and I've got like some good meals now that I just do like a big prep, a batch of. I understand how much protein and make a big salad, so I really, I'm not kind of stuck in that kind of going backwards and forwards cycle again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. It must be, does it feel freeing?
Yeah.
Because I think when we're stuck in a cycle, we're stuck in a cycle. So we're just like
Yeah.
jumping around, like we're like one of those mice on the wheel. So
Yeah.
and because clearly, like, you've lost 8 kilos, you've got your body composition goals, like you're hitting your fiber goals, like, so I would imagine your energy is great now. You're not suffering from that low energy anymore.
Yeah, like I mean, I still normal have days where I'm tired and stuff like that, but actually the overall, like I don't, I used to kind of have a lot of digestive issues, and that's really settled down as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that also feeds into when we're eating correctly. Like, our gut health is very important. There's a big
Mm.
connection between our gut and our brain. And, here we're on our menopause journey. Our menopause symptoms are often stemmed from the brain. So if we've got things off, like gut health, or we're not, so for you, what was happening was, if we look at our diet, all the three macronutrients need to be accounted for, and one of yours wasn't, like it was very much under. So when we're doing that, then there's consequences, and generally it comes in the form of obviously energy, but gut health, like different, there's consequences to that. So for you now, you have like nailed those things, so your energy's on point, your gut health is like tick, that then leads over to great energy, mood, focus, sleep, like all the things that we want. Of course, you've ticked the box on your body composition goals, to feel our best.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely doing did the first, did the free October challenge, and then did the program after that. And then I actually like did the, it wasn't a proper program over the Christmas period, but we got meal plans. And then to back it up, like in the February challenge, it really just solidified those behavioral changes for my diet. Yeah.
That's so good, so good. And so I know that, and the reason we're recording this is because I think a lot of women actually fall into this low carb, no carb boat. What is your advice, like now that you have like got off the wheel and you've got it dialed in? What would you say, like to your 5-year-old, your 5-year-old, 5 year yourself 5 years ago that was going to come out right?
Like, yeah. I mean, carbs aren't the enemy, you know, they're an essential part of, a healthy diet. And, I'm a person who actually needs them to have the energy levels I need to accomplish the things that I want to do.
Yeah, for sure. And so when you get that in check and you understand, because I think this is also a challenge in our generation, is that we're conditioned to eat less. We're conditioned to get on the scale and make the number go down and eat less and exercise more. And so some of our conditioning around food is just pretty unhealthy. And it's not really our fault. Like, it's just we haven't been taught correctly. And we grew up with the supermodels who weren't eating anything, and so it wasn't great. So therefore we've got some kind of like bad patterning to undo. And when we understand, like you just said, that carbs aren't the enemy, when you understand what food is and how to use it correctly, you actually get freedom. Because I don't know if this is the case, but I suspect you're eating more now than you were when you were on those cycles. Would that be right?
Yeah, but I think I'm eating a lot less, highly processed, high sugar, high fat foods, because I'm not, I eat them occasionally, but I'm not craving them because I feel like I'm missing, something's missing. Yeah.
Yeah. And that sort of food is, of course, like, we want to enjoy that in moderation, but we don't want to be eating it every day, because we know that that's not going to give us the best health outcomes. So, I mean, your health markers would definitely be a lot better now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And just generally overall, do you feel like a healthier version of yourself?
I definitely do. I notice actually, when, those times when things slip a little, like it really does impact my sleep and everything. And but a couple of days of just, back on track, eating healthy, and there's a real difference. I really do feel how much better I am when I, eat well, and yeah.
That's so good. And do you have any favorite recipes that you like to make?
Um, my favourites are the chicken and mushroom breakfast bake.
Yes.
Um, I also like the baked blueberry
Yep.
oats. Yeah, and a lot of the wheat bix, overnight wheat bix recipes, and the chia recipes. Yeah, and I made up your was it your protein choc chip cookies?
Yep.
I make them with chocolate protein powder.
Oh,
So they're double choc and they're really satisfying.
nice. You've just made me want to make a batch of those. Maybe that's what I do tomorrow. Well, thank you so much for spending the time. I know that this conversation will really resonate, and hopefully, if you're listening to this, you realize that you can change and get off that cycle that is not serving you, and just learn about your food. So, thanks again, Danielle, and I look forward to keeping in touch and seeing you continue to thrive.
No worries, Chanel.